Welcome to episode 2 here at TicTacTeq. I'm your host, Samuel Saintonge. You'll meet my great friend, Steven. He's a great musician, father, serial entrepreneur. As always, when you're looking for your watches, make sure you go see your authorized dealer first. Go see what's available on Grailzee.com. It's a great auction website. They actually have a new marketplace now that you can go buy watches on. I personally buy watches both from ADs and on Grailzee.com. Please feel free to reach out to me, put some comments, and welcome to and enjoy episode number 2. We're good to go? Anytime?
Yep. What's the first segment?
So the first segment is Steve.
Hey.
Steve, welcome to our second episode.
I'm honored, but why wasn't I on the first episode? What's going on?
I don't know. You must have been out of town because I know you travel a lot.
Ah, sure. We'll use that excuse.
So welcome to TicTacTeq, episode number 2. Tic is for timepieces, Tac is for tacos, and Teq is for tequila.
Cool.
And today we're featuring Steve. I will have his bio in a link below. And always, as everything we do here, if you have time, I want to subscribe. Please share, like the post. We'd like to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. And on that note, we will have a 1,000 subscriber prize, and we're going to get to figure out what that is.
Awesome.
And maybe we'll get a show going with a lot of the people that were in the first, second, or third episodes to be on our 1,000th episode, or 1,000 subscriber episode, or where we think we're going to be.
Cool.
So Steve, I think we should talk timepieces.
Okay.
And we should talk tacos.
Okay.
Because there's a part of your family that is very close to tacos.
Okay, yes, it's true.
And then you can go into your heritage a little later on.
Sure.
And then we can dab a little bit on the tequila side, but today I think those would be the two things. So
Cool.
I see what you're wearing.
Yeah.
I know that watch. The other watch that you brought with us today is the one I normally see you wearing.
That's right. Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about timepieces and what got you interested in timepieces. How old were you and why?
Yeah, sure. When I was a kid, probably same with you, like swatches were a big deal. They came out and they just like took over. It's like the MTV
That's right.
era, right?
right.
And they were super cool, I thought, when I was a kid.
Yes.
We're talking like, I'm 10 years old maybe.
Okay. Oh wow, that's
Yeah. And then I'd asked my parents to get me one, and they wouldn't. I asked for Michael Jordan shoes, all these things, and my parents were frugal.
Yes.
They wouldn't do these things for me. Then they did buy me a Swatch watch.
Wow.
It was a big deal for me. Okay, big deal. And I was at baseball practice. I couldn't wear it while I played.
Right.
I put it up in the dugout. I forgot it there. I lost it.
You lost your parents' watch.
Well, it was my watch.
Well,
they got
the one
for
that
me.
they got for
but
you.
they got it
Yeah,
for me.
yeah,
They were
yeah,
nice
yeah.
enough too.
Yeah.
And I wanted them to replace it. Of course they didn't, and they shouldn't have. You know, it was my fault. But then when I got older, and I got my, first jobs and stuff like that, one of the first things I did is I bought myself the Swatch watch.
Really? Nice.
Yeah.
That's
and then,
awesome.
Later in life, I think you know this, I started doing a lot of startup
Yes.
investing.
Yeah.
And one of the companies that I invested in had a big liquidation event and did really well for us. And I went out and got myself another toy. I got a bunch of toys, actually.
That's right. All right, so let's get into that.
Well, some of the other toys I got. So when I was a kid, I always wanted skateboards,
Okay.
like nice skateboards. But I always had one you got from the grocery store. I bought myself, and this is at 45 years old. I bought myself new skateboards. I went and bought myself a Haro BMX bike.
Yeah.
I bought myself a Rolex.
Yes.
And I bought myself a Tesla.
Yeah.
And I got Joanna.
I think that's the one that's out there. Yeah.
The Model X, because I always wanted to have a DeLorean.
Yes.
With the doors that go up. But when you've got 3 kids, you can't really fit them in a DeLorean.
That's
so we got the Model X. But the watch was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
Growing up, the people that were the most successful were wearing Rolexes, right? And so
still like that today.
I don't know a lot about it. I just knew I liked it.
Right.
I saw it, and I thought it was beautiful, and so I bought it. And I have no interest in ever selling it or anything like that. In fact, I think someday I'll give it to my son.
Yeah, absolutely.
When he's older and responsible enough to have it. But I wear it. I wear it not gingerly.
Yes.
I'll go golf with it. Whatever. So I It's my everyday watch that I wear quite a bit. I think that it'd be great if you could tell me about it. Like,
Sure,
what I don't know a
sure.
lot about it. Is it an okay watch?
Yeah, it's a great watch. It's that one there, I believe. I'm not going to quote the exact serial number on it, but this is the actual, this is the date just, 40 millimeters. The dial on it, the color of the dial on it is great. It's probably right now, watches are really interesting because especially Rolexes, people think if you buy a Rolex, you're always going to make money. Most people, 99.9% of people that buy Rolexes, they're not buying to sell them, right?
Yeah,
There's this gray market out there. There's resellers and so on and so forth. Gray market is not a pejorative word. It's just the way they call it.
Okay.
So what happens is you have people that know there's certain types of watches that there's a huge demand on it. So just like anything, economics 101, you have a supply and demand. If you reduce the supply, people buying them from the jewelers, people want them like you, they're going into the jeweler, says we have a wait list. And then you find one online, you're like, I don't mind paying a premium because I want them, right?
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
kind of like how the Rolex industry, the Rolex people buying them has gone probably for the last 20, 30 years, but it's getting really, really popular now. With any type of watches, I call them the big three, okay? So the big three for me is Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Audemars Piguet, right? Like those are the big three where typically any time you walk into one of those stores, you're not gonna walk out with a watch, right? It's very rare you walk in there and you get the watch that you want. So those, when you deal with authorized dealers, I recommend anybody watching the show, always go to an authorized dealer first. Get your information on watches there. Some authorized dealers, the stores are actually owned by the actual watchmaker.
Okay.
So Audemars Piguet is going in that direction. Patek Philippe is already there. Richard Mille, another one, is already there. Rolex still has what they call authorized dealers. So you might have a Rolex watch dealer that has, for example, Omega and other types of companies that are represented. So they have a fairly extensive network. So some of the stores are Rolex owned, some aren't. What's interesting about Rolex that a lot of people don't know, it's actually a not-for-profit company. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So it used
I
to
did
be,
not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it used to be a family-owned company. They changed their tax structure, so it's actually a not-for-profit company. So they believe, if you ever read up on Rolex, they believe that they should always make great timepieces for the quality they make. It should be somewhat affordable, as they call it. I mean, some of the watches now, you go to a store, they're $200,000, right? But the build quality might be the same as a Rolex.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I was most interested in. So if I'm going to have this watch, two things. I wanted to buy one that I thought would be an attractive watch no matter the changing times.
Yes.
Right? So like 20 years from now, that hot pink watch or whatever, or this, not going to be in vogue,
That's
right?
right.
But I think that kind of, to me, seemed like it had a timeless
Yep.
aesthetic. And then also, I was interested in something that could get beat up a little bit, and I can still give it to my son, when he's older. So that second part is true too.
Yep.
That it will stand the test of time.
So Rolex is like anything in the market. It fluctuates. You have a great watch, you'll be able to keep it forever. You'll be able to actually have it serviced probably, for many generations to come. Rolex is truly a timeless piece of art, which good job on getting that.
Cool, thanks.
When you got it. Your Swatch, also cool on getting that. Now, here's what people don't realize when it comes to swatches. So the actual name of the company that owns Swatch is actually called Swatch Group.
Okay.
And Swatch Group is huge.
Okay.
So I'm going to name you some brands that are out there. Blancpain, okay, high-end watch owned by Swatch Group. Breguet, one of the first makers of the watchmaking in the 1700s.
Wow.
Okay, owned by Swatch Group. Glashütte. Actually, your watch here and this watch here, which is a Hamilton, is actually owned by the same company, Swatch Group.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So, and the reason why they do that is watches nowadays, it's like everything we see and hear that we consume, right? So just like cars, where at one point Mercedes did not have a $30,000 Mercedes. That was not something you could do. But then they said, wait a minute here. We have a whole bunch of people.
We're missing out on this whole market segment.
We have a huge market, right? So Swatch Group is one of the what I call one of the three big groups, conglomerates that own a lot of different brands, and they want to make sure they have watches in the same category, in different categories, but hit the niche market. Omega, owned by Swatch Group.
Okay.
Longines, owned by Swatch Group. So there's a whole bunch of these watches that are out there. Like, wait a minute, Tissot, same thing. What's interesting with Swatch Group is they took part of their brand. They took Omega, Tissot, and Longines. And those three groups, if you're into sports, you'll see the official time. So skiing, Formula One racing, boating, equestrian, hockey, you'll see time, and they'll say Swiss timing, right? And if you don't know, you think that's a generic thing. No, it's actually a brand. It's called Swiss Timing.
Okay.
And Swiss Timing brand is actually those three brands put together: Omega, Tissot, and Longines. Which, if you're an athlete, which you are, you see them and you're like, well, I know you play tennis and golf.
Very generous of you. Thank you.
Actually, and like I said, go into Steve's bio or some links. Steve is actually a serial entrepreneur and also a great musician. So I don't know if those bios will go in there, and this is my time to promote you a little bit, Steven.
The entrepreneur part is true enough. The adjective great is subjective, but thank you.
So great pickup on that. A lot of people think Swatch Group owns Rolex. They don't. Like I said, Rolex is actually, in the watch world, they're kind of like they're on their own little island. Okay. And they're trying to do that. The other conglomerates of watches that people might not be aware of, like LVMH, Louis Vuitton, Moet, Hennessy, right?
I think in terms of entrepreneurship and startup world, right? Yeah. So does that exist in the watch space in the sense that there are like small little startups that start up and they're in the hopes of being acquired by like these brands? Is that a path that is common?
There are lots, but it's not common.
Okay.
I think to my last count which is, and it changes every day. Switzerland is still the number one area for people to actually make movements of watches. I think the last time companies that made their own movements and actually produced their own watch, I think we're around 175 in Switzerland alone. And then there's watchmaking in France. It's just some in the U.S. They're all over the place. Japan, Germany.
There's because I grew up in Michigan. There's that brand Shinola. Yeah. That was like that coming out of Detroit. And I started seeing them.
And actually, Swatch Group, Swiss Timing, they opened one of the first watchmaking schools in Miami. Okay. Don't know the date. Don't quote me on it, but I think it was close in the 1990s somehow. So they wanted to bring that capacity,
that artistry,
and to bring it in. So I haven't followed on the acquisition side after they're done their fundraising and so on, if it's actually profitable to do that. But it is such movements are developing new movements would be the best way to explain it. It's hard.
I imagine.
Okay. Richard Mille might be, who used to be one of the head engineers at Audemars Piguet before. He's probably one of the newest watchmakers that was able to scale really, really fast and have a very profitable company from a valuation perspective. It's a private company, so I don't know how much.
My guess is like anyone who's getting into like making watches is first and foremost doing it out of just like a sheer love.
It'd be
for
like
the artistry of
making guns, you know.
Need
somebody's got to teach you how to do it because it's not something you're going to pick it up. But when you're talking about movements, actually, Swatch Group, they have a subsidiary that's called ETASA. So they actually are probably the number one movement maker in watches. Many brands from all over are actually using those movements. So in the watch, you have the case, right? you have the materials, and then you have the movement. Those are the three fundamentals of a watch. In yours, there was the oyster case, right? When you're looking at the fundamentals of a watch, what gives it value of any watch, it's those three things.
Okay.
Right? The brand is always number one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. People will pay premium for a brand. But when you're looking at the real value of a watch is what type of movement does it have? If it's what's called an in-house movement.
Like all is made in-house.
Everything's made in-house, right? So
is mine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything Rolex is made in-house.
All right.
Actually, there was a time that Zenith actually made the Daytona movement for the Daytona watch. Okay. And but that was a partnership.
So now are those valuable or not valuable? Are they valuable because it was a small time that they did it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the precision time movement is very important for the watch, and not just who makes it, but the type. So you have different what they call calibers in watches, and then there's the type, which is it a tourbillon movement or etc. How many jewels are they using to make the movements? And people say, what do you mean jewels? Yeah, there's really like rubies and stuff because
there's value inside the watch.
Yes, there's a lot of value just inside the movement, and then the case, right? So if you have a white gold watch over a stainless steel, precious metals will have a greater value. And then there's a thing called scarcity that kind of plays, and that's the whole package inside.
Scarcity in the sense that they manufactured X number of these.
Yeah. So you can have a watch, and they come out with a watch like yours, and they say, hey, there's a Tiffany dial or whatever it might be, right?
Okay.
So scarcity also plays a value in that. But in the watch world, your story, which is, okay, I was a kid, I wanted this, right? I think I just bought my daughter her first watch the other day. She's really walking in a store. She's like, I want a watch.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it was like a $6 watch. I'm like, sure, let's go.
You know what I tried and I did not like at all? It was the Apple Watch. I had one and I still have it. I never, ever wear it. It just drove me nuts. I missed having like an old school watch. Yeah. There's a number of reasons. One, I didn't find it very aesthetically pleasing, but also every time someone would text me or something like that, I would just constantly like get this ping on my wrist. And like, let's say we're sitting having a meeting.
Yes.
And the whole time I'm just going like that. It's rude. I look like I'm not paying attention to you. Yeah. So yeah, I got rid of it. How do you see like these electronic watches like that, the more digital watches, impacting the space? Because there's some really high-end ones too.
Yeah. So the wearables, like any technology, in the way I looked at it is just give it time and see what will happen, right?
Yeah, it doesn't also, like I would imagine, the technology itself becomes antiquated pretty quickly.
Yeah. So what happens is in wearables, what I'm seeing where it's going now is it actually, I think, just segmented the watch market to what I like in a better way. Okay. Right? Because then now you have people that really don't care about watches, and they had to have one before. Now they're very happy with their Apple Watch.
Yeah. That's those people.
Right? Like that's fine, right? And the interesting part is, I mean, some of these wearables, you're spending 6, 7, sometimes, depending if you have an Hermes bracelet and it's $2,500 or whatever it is. But you leave the store and it does the opposite of a watch. It goes down, right? It
depreciates,
So it depreciates a lot faster. So the wearables will always be there. What really hit the watch market more than anything else was when they came out with the quartz movement.
Okay.
Back in in the mid 80s, late 70s. I don't know. I forget when they really started pushing quartz.
Pretend movement. I don't know what that is.
So quartz is it's a mechanism that uses a battery.
Okay.
Okay. So actually, that tortilla there, that's a quartz movement because it's small. So it's really, really hard to have a movement like yours, regardless if it's a manual movement or one that's done automatic, to actually to have precision timepiece in a really, really small watch. So for women's watches at that time, they were a lot smaller. So, but what was happening is there's a variability in your movement in the sense of time. So it might be 24 hours, but your watch might lose or gain 2 or 3 seconds per day. Okay. And that's normal, right? I think, so the cost, the certification that Switzerland gives out called COSC, they give it a variability of about 5 seconds, plus or minus.
Per day?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's every 24-hour cycle. Most of those watches, like yours, probably has a reserve of 48 hours to 56 hours. So if you don't wear it,
Gotcha.
after 3 days, it doesn't work, right? So you have to wind up that tensioner inside. So when quartz came out, perfect. You put in a battery, and the precision of the time was better than an automatic or manual.
But then you
watch.
have to change the battery?
Well, once a year, but you didn't have to worry about anything. So everybody went to quartz at that time, and they're saying all of these watches you see here, minus the Cartier, who is a quartz watch, they're saying, oh, that's it. We don't have to spend all this money building all these mechanisms, all right? And that lasted maybe 5 or 10 years, but then the purists came back like, wait a minute, this is not the same, and then it really bounced back. It completely bounced back. So you don't see as many quartz, like in the timepiece world, you don't see many times.
What's the oldest watch?
Oof. Blanc Pain is one of the oldest manufacturers. They're from 1735. They had their own watches, which actually Swatch Group, I believe, bought in 1992. They bought Blanc Pain, which was one of the original watchmakers back in the 1700s.
So would someone who doesn't know a lot about watches like myself might assume that one of their watches has to be the most valuable watch in the world. Is that accurate?
Yeah, if you can find one. They're mostly in all museums now.
Okay.
If you look at some of the most valuable watches now, Patek Philippe is always at the top right now for collectible pieces.
I have to exit another company.
Yes,
first, but then that's
and I'll
next.
tell you which one's
You will help me.
So Patek is always in the top just because of their breed and their heritage of what they've done. But it's not uncommon now to see watches that were worn by people.
Oh, makes sense.
That are highly sought after. They might make, it's not necessarily a limited run or anything like that. It's just at that time certain things happen in society. Paul Newman had a whole bunch of watches that were popular, right, when he was an actor, like all these stuff, right? So the folklore behind watches, especially at auction houses,
makes sense. Like I collect guitars, and like
guitars,
same thing. Like if you could buy like John Lennon's guitar, like
same thing,
same exact guitar that he never played,
yeah,
worth a lot less money.
Yeah, and sometimes the watchmakers will make a watch and not release it, and then bring it. Kind of like the winemakers, bring it 30 years later. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we had a secret project.
Cool.
Here it is.
That's
and then,
smart.
And it's never worn, but it's 3 years old, and then do that. So from that part of the watch, I'm gonna have to do a heck of a lot more research.
No
worries. Right? Like I'm like squirrel, and I'll read about watches, and then I'll come back. So good on the watch. Keep it.
Thanks. Will do.
You have 2 more kids, so you're gonna have to buy 2 more.
Yes. Well, Joanna, my wife can give our daughters her watches.
I know she'll do a good job. Taco time.
Taco time.
Taco time. So tell me a little bit about your heritage.
My ethnic background. So my mom is Mexican, but she was born in the United States, but her parents are from Mexico.
Okay.
And my dad, also born in the United States, but his parents are from Germany.
Okay.
So growing up, my parents told me I was Germican.
Germican. So you're a second generation American.
Yep.
Right? Mom from Mexico. Which part of Mexico?
So my grandpa is from an area called Iguala, and my grandmother, we would go to Cuernavaca every time we would go back there to visit her sister.
Been there.
Yeah. Great area.
Love it.
Yep.
Huh. Nice.
Yeah.
And the German part?
German part is from Mannheim.
Okay.
Area. Yeah. So not a lot of tacos on the German side, but
did you ever have like schnitzel tacos?
Like a sauerkraut tacos? No, we should do that though.
You could do some fusion. Like you're a master, like
it's an unusual fusion.
You're an artist. You can do that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, like tequila and Gewürztraminer or something like that.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, we would have tacos on the other side of the family for sure. We had tortillas with every meal.
Okay,
for sure.
Now we're on to something.
All right, go.
Now for you, when it comes to tacos,
yeah,
are you a corn or a wheat
Yes,
Yeah.
flour, we would say. But
I know, but I
caught
know,
you're
where I'm going
Canadian.
with this.
Yeah, yeah. So
Because the last episode,
Yeah.
I said that, and Jurgen, who you know,
Yes.
I said, is it corn or wheat? And he's like, flour.
yeah. I know, that's what I was calling you out.
That's for you, Jurgen.
Yep, that was. I think for me, we had flour all the time. So
Yeah,
my
okay.
grandma made flour, like big things like
So
lard, and like it was
Yeah,
not the
yeah,
healthiest,
yeah.
but it was delicious.
Oh,
I like flour, but I tell you what, there's a place locally. It's not like it's not the most authentic Mexican
Yes.
stuff, but
Yes.
it used to be called Nana Taco. Now it's called Nuvo Taco. It's in
where
Durham.
is that? Oh, in Durham.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they you can get like pork butt, duck, all the, like
so
they have good
they
chorizo.
fusioned
It's pretty darn good, and they have corn tortillas,
it. Yeah.
but they're fluffy, like
Oh,
like
okay.
a flour
Yeah,
tortilla
yeah, yeah,
typically
yeah.
is. So
That's pretty good.
I actually like it. You should check that out. But I'm more of a flour tortilla guy. Yeah. What about you? What's your answer?
If I'm eating a carne asada
Mm-hmm.
type of taco, flour/wheat for sure.
Okay.
But then when I get into the different types of tacos that are going to be very spicy
Mm-hmm.
or things like that, a corn tortilla that is warmed up on a barbecue or a flame is really I
Yeah,
prefer
sounds
that.
great.
But a cold, you know what I mean, like a cold corn, like that does
Yeah.
nothing to me. It has to be warmed
I
up.
agree. It does have to be warmed up for sure.
So all right,
Yeah.
so we've answered the flour /
yeah.
wheat
Yep.
corn discussion. It's your last meal.
Okay.
You're only allowed a type of taco.
Okay.
What type is it?
Oh man, that's tough. But I think I'm gonna have to go with chorizo. It'd be
Really?
a chorizo. I love chorizo, man.
Wow,
I think it's great.
That's good.
Because it's like it's got the right amount of spice and heat.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you don't have. First of all, most tacos are like vehicles for sauces too. Let's be
Yes,
honest, right?
yes.
Like having a good salsa, whether it's
Yeah.
like a salsa verde
Yeah.
or roja or like all these hot sauces that are out there today. Like so many. You ever watch that show Hot Ones?
Yes.
I love that
Yeah.
stuff. So, but there's this whole world that's exploded with like these like bespoke sauces or whatever. And tacos are a great vessel for those
Yeah, that's
things.
true.
So I think like the cool thing about chorizo is that it gives you a little heat with it. If you don't have good salsa and stuff like, you can rely just on the chorizo itself to give you that.
That's true.
What about you?
My last meal.
Death row.
Yeah.
They caught you.
I don't know what's worse. The death row. I only have one more taco in my life.
Taco.
I would have to say a duck taco.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
good.
I'm
Yeah.
really enjoying them. They have them at Bar Taco here,
Mm-hmm.
local. And I just, a chicken taco doesn't do it. You know what I mean? Like
I do.
a chicken burrito, sure, that's all right. But when it comes to tacos, but then when you do a confit duck or something like that, and you put in a taco, and then you put some nice green sauce with a little bit of, not too much heat, but just
Yeah.
enough. I find they're good. I'd say that would be a new one. We were by the beach here in North Carolina not too long ago, and we went to this taco place, and they served us. They call it a North Carolinian taco,
Okay.
and it was confit onions, and it almost looked like pulled pork, but it still had more consistency. Like it wasn't a true pulled pork. It must have been pork butt. It must have been.
Yep.
And
That
it
place
was,
I told you about has great pork butt.
and it was really good, right?
Okay.
And they didn't put. You talked about the vehicle of sauce. They only put one sauce and a little bit of shredded cabbage, and with those onions, it was so good, right? Because then you could taste the meat behind it, and that was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd say, but I'm a sucker for your beef, carne asada.
That's what's great about tacos. Like they're always, even a bad taco is good.
It's good.
Like you can go to, I hate to say it, but you can go to Taco Bell and have
Yeah.
like, you're not going to be like, that was awful. And then a good taco can be so great too. I know you talk about tequila in here too.
Yes.
So just real quick, like that same thing exists in tequila.
Yeah.
Like Actually, I think tequila, of all the alcohols, the liquors, has the widest range.
I think so. Yeah.
Like, because good tequilas are magical.
I know.
And then bad tequilas are really actually pretty bad, man. They're bad. So tacos are interesting like that too. But even the difference is even the bad tacos are actually pretty good. But yeah, I've been fortunate to have lots of really good tacos in my life from my family.
Yep.
And then just dining out. It's one of the best foods because it's like a sandwich. You got a piece of bread and you're throwing whatever you want in the middle of it and you call it a taco.
Now, do you put the asadero cheese in there when you're doing your tacos, or you try to keep the cheese out of the taco?
So honestly, these days I'm doing what probably a lot of people are. Like you go to that place you just mentioned, Bar Taco. They've got the queso, they call it,
Yes,
right? Like the melted cheese thing. That's
yeah.
typically what I'm doing these days.
Okay.
It's like we'll do an order of queso
Yeah.
and just like drizzle some on the taco. Yeah.
One thing that I want to start doing more that I don't do enough is starting to pickle peppers.
Yeah.
Right? Like a relish type, but do it more like not on the sweet side, and then start doing my relishes to actually put those in tacos.
Yeah,
That's why I brought these two books here, the chilies and really understanding how the different peppers work together when you're using them on tacos.
That's a cool thing about tacos. Like so many variations. You just put something in between that and you can call it a taco. Yeah. And if you're putting these little things that you made at home into it, awesome. Count me in. Have me over.
Sounds good.
I'll have one.
All right, Steve. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, man.
I'm gonna keep a counter. So far this is episode 2, like I said. So the first episode we had somebody wearing a Zenith, which was me. They were wearing a Rolex and they were wearing a Tag Heuer. You're wearing a Swatch and you brought your Rolex, so I'm gonna count you for both because you brought both. And I'm wearing a Hublot today, so that's your official counter as of now. And as we have more episodes, I'll keep the counter at the top so people can keep track of where we are.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
For flour, wheat, or corn, I'm the only one that's still voting corn. Everybody else
go flour. I gotta
go to flour.
It's my grandma, man. I have to stick with that.
Yeah. And then the tequilas, there's too many to list.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, Samuel.
All right, so reach out. I'm gonna put Steve's bio. Serial entrepreneur, great guy, good friend, excellent musicians, great kids. You might have heard them through the podcast. They're here, and can't wait to have you back.
Thanks a lot, man.
All right, thanks.
Yep.